Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up. What are we starting with?
Undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
Here we are, we're back. Believe you me.
You know, people say on Instagram a lot, they get Americans say it a lot, happy Monday. Happy Monday. I don't know how I feel about that, Lewis. It kind of irritates me.
Why?
Because I was going to say happy Monday, everybody, but then I just thought, no, that's so cheesy. Hey, guys, happy Monday. What's up? You know, no, not happy Monday. Hi, welcome to the show, episode 82, something like that. Lewis, you look very, very happy as usual. What's the problem now?
I was just thinking that we should rename this show. You know what grinds my gears? With Michael Bisping. Because you start every show off with something that's really pissed you off from the previous night before, whether it's a person working out at 4 a.m. or if it's fucking Happy Mondays. You don't like it. I like it, but it's okay.
Hey, I like the Happy Mondays. Happy Mondays were a fantastic band from Manchester in the 90s. So Happy Mondays are great. But the whole Happy Friday, guys, Happy Mondays, like, come on, get over it.
Is that the band that the 24-hour party people was made about? Correct.
Amundo. There you
go. With Steve Coogan, who you didn't think I would even fucking know when I was at your house. You were like, Steve Coogan, you're not going to know who he is because blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know.
Random comedian from Manchester. You know what I mean? Forgive me if I assumed you wouldn't know who he was. That's all. I didn't know you'd seen the relatively obscure movie 24-Hour Party People, which is a great movie, by the way. Check it out if you haven't. But Monday morning, big fights at the weekend. I mean, typically we just waffle nonsense for a bit, but let's get right into it. Big show today. Eddie Bravo, jiu-jitsu legend, calling in a little bit. He's got some exciting stuff going on that he wants to tell us all about, and he will do that via the phone, and maybe we'll pick his brain as to whether or not you can really fall off the earth if you go in a straight line far enough.
That is true. I want him to convince me because I don't buy any of the flat earth stuff. And look, I'll tell him, you know, right over a phone line, maybe not to his face, but via phone line, I'll tell him, I don't buy your horseshit, Eddie. Convince me. So we'll get into it.
Lewis, don't say that like you're in the minority. I think most people realize that in this day and age, we are not on a flat object floating through space. We're on a spherical planet. The Earth is round. It is a sphere, hence, therefore, a spherical object. Correct,
I like
Armando?
I
like it also.
I'm of the belief that where there's smoke, there's fire with most things. My problem with
Hold on. So the fire being the flat Earth, and you're saying there's smoke. So where there's smoke, there's fire. So you're saying there's a possibility that the world is flat.
I'm saying that
it's ridiculous.
There are a lot of conspiracy theories, and I'm saying that there has to be some truth to some of these things. Whether it's we didn't land on the moon, 9/11 did inside job, the Earth is flat. There's something there somewhere.
Why?
Because it can't all just be out of nowhere.
There's some assholes out there that like to spread shit. I mean, like there was what was that terrible shooting? It was at a school, I think,
Newtown, Connecticut. Yeah, a lot of people say that, or the truthers will say that was an inside job and it never happened. And I'm going with you.
There's a guy on YouTube that actually goes to these locations where I think there was a shooting in a church. Is that correct? And he goes outside and he posts all these videos and posters and shit like that saying that this was all nonsense, all lies, all made up by the government. I mean, this guy's a fucking asshole because people have actually lost their life. We're going down a serious tone, and I believe you me Monday. So let's get out of there.
Happy Mondays.
Being killed. Happy Monday.
Well, let me say, because let me tell you. Oh, you got a shame bell.
Shame.
Well, we're gonna shame that guy. We're gonna shame that conspiracy theorist who goes out to, and I'll tell you why. Because look, even let's say there's a 1% chance that Newtown, Connecticut did happen. Let's say it is a big conspiracy and it didn't really happen, right? But let's say there's a 1% chance that it did happen, right? You're going to tell me you're going to risk going to some mom or dad that lost their child? I don't give a shit how small of a percent you believe. You're going to tell them to their face that they didn't lose their kid? I don't give a shit what your fucking YouTube channel is worth. It's just not worth it. That's fucking crazy. And the same thing with 9/11. I mean, I know people who lost family members in 9/11. Okay? It's like, I think...
And how do they feel about these conspiracy theories?
Yeah, I'm sure they think they're bullshit. If I had to guess, I never really talked to him. That'd be interesting to talk.
Well, hold on. No. See, that's a different one because the conspiracy is the reasoning behind it happening. There's no doubt that the World Trade Centers collapsed. I mean, there's no conspiracy there.
Well, it's funny. We're even bringing this up. Tomorrow's 9/11, which is crazy.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the 10th today. It's the 10th. Yeah.
Wow.
So
where were you on 9/11?
I was in New York City.
Oh shit! Well, fucking hell, you remember it?
I remember it. I had just started going to school in New York City, literally days before 9/11. I started. This is my first introduction. I started maybe September 3rd, September 4th. I started going to school here, and then the towers got struck, and it was crazy. I was rollerblading to class. I had a 9 o'clock in the morning class, and I went to school, and it was a marketing class, 4 hours. It didn't get out until 1 p.m. So they didn't even let us know. The towers got struck at like 9:15. They didn't even let us know that the towers got struck. I had to stay in that fucking class all day. I got out at 1 o'clock. When I got out of class, everybody was like freaking out on their cell phones, like crying. And they canceled classes for the rest of the day. And I just remember because I didn't know what happened. I didn't know the gravity of the event. So they were like, classes are canceled. And I just remember being like, fuck yeah, dude. Lucky me. What a great day this is. And I played hacky sack for like 10 minutes before I realized what was going on. And it was like the biggest, craziest, most terrifying, surreal event you could ever imagine. You just felt like, holy shit, at any moment. I had dreams for years that like the buildings were crumbling on top of my head. And like it was a very, really scary thing.
Well, prior to fighting for a living, I used to work at Contrast Upholstery in a very small, beautiful village called Sabden. Whilst it was an okay place to work, it was miserable. I hated it. And it was very rare that I would put in a full week because, yes, of course, I had to have a job. I had to pay the mortgage and I had children, but I didn't like it. And, of course, at the weekends, I maybe would overindulge. And so Monday mornings or Fridays or Thursdays, whatever. It was very rare that I would make a full week. And on one of these occasions, I was led on the couch, faking being sick. I mean, I wasn't faking it. I'd called in and pretended to be sick, and that was it. Then I was just being lazy, led on the couch, and I was watching the news, and they were reporting that the first plane had hit the tower. And then as I was watching the news, the second plane hit the second tower live. It was fucking crazy. I'll never forget it. Unbelievable. But we're not here to talk about that. I don't know how that happened. But
Happy
that
Mondays.
Must be crazy for you, Luis. Happy Monday. Boom. There you go.
Shame on you. Shame on you, terrorists. Give them the shame bell. The terrorists. Shame.
Shame on you, Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda.
Shame on you, ISIS.
You said it like it
Shame
was.
on you, Osama bin Laden.
You said Al-Qaeda.
Shame on you, motherfuckers.
Like it's acai. That's not how you say Al-Qaeda.
Well, it depends where you come from, motherfucker. Okay? You say potato, I say potato. Now, weekend, UFC 228. Tyron Woodley wins the belt.
Holy shit.
Not until. Did you see that? I mean, man, what an impressive performance by Tyron Woodley. Unbelievable. He went out there and he put on the performance of his lifetime. When everybody, it seemed to be, was against him, when everybody was rooting for Darren Till, kind of feel like the UFC were as well. Tyron, he opened his mouth at the press conferences and things like that. He always gets booed. It's a crazy thing that he's not embraced more. Remember Daniel Cormier used to be a guy that used to always get booed, but he's turned it around. Woodley, he does play the victim a little bit sometimes, which is a hard thing for the paying public to get behind. But all that aside, you cannot get by the fact that Saturday night, he was incredible. Unbelievable. I mean, Darren Till, unfortunately, didn't even land a single shot, I don't think. I mean, I'm not sure. He didn't? Is that official?
I think that's official according to Fight Metric. Not one significant strike. And it's not a knock on Darren Till. Obviously, Darren Till's a monster.
No.
Okay. But, and I do have to say, I did say this. I think that Tyron Woodley is a different type of athlete. And I think Tyron Woodley is a guy who, he seems to be motivated by doubt. He seems to be motivated by haters. He has like a chip on his shoulder. And I think, look, he might perform best when he is coming in and people are kind of questioning whether or not he can do it. He looked unfucking believable. Looked so good in every area of the fight. He ended up getting a second round Darce choke, but also was beating Darren Till standing up as well. It wasn't even like, it was just like, oh my God, I'm going to take this guy down. He was just more explosive and faster and was just the better man that night.
Well, the thing was, and I don't know if this is definitely the case because I haven't spoken to Darren, but what it looked like to me as being a veteran who has had more fights in UFC than anyone in the world up until Saturday fucking night.
You never
Jim
said that.
Miller.
Miller.
Jim Miller had one extra.
We
never got the most wins. He hasn't got the most wins.
Okay, that was what we were kind of keeping our eye on. Most fights ain't shit.
Yeah, but it's still
Fine.
good.
I like Jim Miller.
Tied with Jim Miller.
I was born in New Jersey.
Okay, all right. So let's not make it about you, Luis. So
you scumbag.
so the problem for Darren, this is what I think, and I think I'd say this to his face, I'd say it to his team. I think they know. Problem was Tyron Woodley is an outstanding wrestler, and he doesn't use it very often because Till went out there, and as we say, he didn't land anything significant. I don't even think he really threw anything. And the problem is when you're facing a really, really good wrestler, it's hard to open up, right? Because especially being English, we're not used to those caliber guys of wrestlers. We're not used to facing world-class wrestlers. I'm not saying Tyron is world-class, but compared to an English guy, he might as well be an Olympic champion. You know what I'm saying? Now, the English weekend wrestle, my level of wrestling now is at a decent level, but I've done MMA for a long, long time, and only now is at a decent level. So when you go out there and you're fighting somebody that wants to take you down to the ground, you're very hesitant to let anything go because you're waiting for them to shoot. You want to defend the takedown and then start unloading with the hands. You saw it with me against GSP. I was other than the fact I nearly had a broken rib, but whatever, that aside, I was hesitant to throw as well because I knew his entire game plan was to take me down. And that's what affected Till. That's why he didn't throw anything. And that's why Tyron was able to get off on him. Now, Tyron exploded. People talk about his speed all the time, but Jesus Christ, it was on display Saturday night. When he did explode, it was terrifying. He tried to take him down. He got the body lock. A very tall person like Darren Till is hard to take down with the body lock because the legs are still on the ground, and Darren did a good job of defending. But ultimately, in the second round, he must have thought maybe his coach, he said, listen, Darren, you got to do more. And he rushed in to try and be aggressive. And of course, when he ran in, got caught with that shot, got put down. And the ground and pound from Tyron, man, those elbows, they were fucking brutal, man. Yeah. They were heavy, heavy, heavy elbows. I mean, that really sent a message to everyone in the division. Darren Till did well. He didn't give up. He was still fighting for position, still trying to improve his position. Tyron Woodley mounted at one point, and I thought, shit, here we go. That's the end. And I think Darren, again, managed to squirm, reclaim half guard or something. As we all know, if you saw the fight, it was a Darce choke. You probably read online. It was a Darce choke that finished it. But this just shows, well, a number of things. A, how strong Tyron Woodley is, and B, possibly how rocked Darren Till was, because that Darce choke wasn't locked in, right? When you get the movements of a Darce choke, you have to sprawl your legs, so your hips, so your penis is pretty much on the floor. You lower your weight and straighten your body out. Tyron was still kind of crunched up on his knees, right? But he just squeezed like a motherfucker.
Hold on. Tyron's penis was probably on the floor.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Come on, a guy like me or you, I don't know, but it's Tyron we're talking about. Continue. Sorry. Keep it serious.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, you're right. Shame. I used my weekend productively. I was out buying fucking shame bells.
You really did. Here's what's funny. Michael Bisping legitimately went to a store, saw a bell, and said, that's it. That's the one.
No. Do you know what the thing is? And
what?
Realistically, it's taking over the world. Fucking Amazon, man. I don't leave my house for anything these days. Amazon covers everything. Hold on. We'll get into that in a minute. It's an interesting discussion of debate or topic, whatever. Tyron Woodley taps him out, gets his black belt. Unreal. Commiserations, Darren Till. He's only 25 years old. 25, 26. He'll be back. Tyron Woodley is a special athlete. I mean, you said it. He's kind of like the modern day GSP, which I agree with. Well-rounded, hard hitter, explosive, powerful, experienced, clever, tough fucking opponent, man, to beat. So no shame to Darren there. It was a big moment. Yeah, he didn't come off, but he's still young. He'll learn from this. I mean, I myself, I was 15-0. I lost, and you make changes, you come back better.
Is there a little part of you, and you're, I don't know if maybe I should ask you this off air, because I don't know if you can even admit this, but is there a little part of you that's like, good, I'm still the only motherfucker from the UK to hold the title?
No, come on. I mean, listen, I always wanted to be the first ever champion from the UK, always. And I achieved that. and will there be another one after me? Of course there will. You can't sit here and wish that everybody loses because I want to be the only champion, No, I want mixed martial arts to prosper in the UK. It's still a growing sport there and more champions is needed. Dude, I'm opening 110 fucking UFC gyms. I need people to live and breathe UFC gym and they need to know about UFC. So therefore we need guys like Darren Till to win. No, it was a shame for Darren. And
that is a really good point, though. That's not like a lost point about you do have a vested interest in UK mixed martial arts growing and expanding. It's really true. It's like from a business perspective, think about what you did when you won the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know what the landscape looked like before in the UK, but I'm sure it legitimately changed the amount of gyms that were out there, the amount of people that were training. I mean, when you retired, we got a lot of letters to the show specifically talking about what, you did for them in terms of inspiration. But yeah, there's something about that. And I think that's also why the UFC, it's not that they wanted Tyron to lose. It's that they really want to go into those markets and they know how valuable it is to have guys that are champions from these different parts of the world and what it does for the visibility on the sport in those parts of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. They need someone. I mean, Darren's done a great job of picking up where I left off, if you will. And having another champion from the UK would have been awesome. As I said, he's still only young. It'll probably happen again. But amazing job, Tyron Woodley. I mean, he looked like he walked in there with the world of pressure on his back. He wasn't smiling. He looked very tense. And I was kind of, I know Tyron. He's a good guy. We kind of bust each other's balls a little bit, but he's a great guy. I messaged him this morning trying to get him on the podcast, and he never responded. So our relationship just took a turn south. Tyron, you got to respond to my messages, brother. Come on. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame for Dan, but he'll be back.
Dude, what happened with Snoop Dogg, Harrington? You sent me. I didn't see actual Snoop Dogg's commentary.
Have you seen it?
Well, pull it up on the screen. Actually, I just saw what Darren Till tweeted back. I guess.
Well, listen. I mean, I'm a fan of the Snoop Deal Double G. I mean, I was a big fan. Yeah, who doesn't love a bit of Snoop Dogg? Do you know what I mean? What was it called? The Dog Pound. That's one of my favorite albums from 1993. I remember rapping that shit at high school. My mom, I used to play a lot of rap music at home. My mom used to call it devil music. Get that devil music off in my house now. She's Irish. Yeah. So a big fan of Snoop. And I remember meeting him backstage at UFC 114 when Rashad fought Rampage. I was the co-main event and I walked backstage. He was there. We shared a little fist bump. I was like, oh, fuck, cool. Snoop Dogg. Fishizzle. Manizzle.
Oh, this is
Well, this is the video of Snoop Dogg doing his own commentary, if you will, of Tyron Woodley ground.
Yeah, the gorilla that ran up on King Kong, Tyron Woodley. Beat his ass. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Beat his motherfucking ass. Fuck Donald Trump, nigga. Beat his ass. For all the niggas out there, cuz, whoop this motherfucker. Whoop his motherfucking ass. Beat his motherfucker, cuz.
Now, is this officially from the UFC stream that he does commentary for?
No. All right, kill this.
We got it.
Kill this. So there's a few things that need to be pointed out. Number one, Tyron Woodley is not fighting Donald Trump. I don't know if you know this. Number one, Tyron Woodley is not fighting Colby Covington there. So unfortunately, I think Snoop Dogg is a little confused. He
thought it was Colby.
Darren Till is Colby Covington.
Well, or he got his wires crossed.
I'm sure to black guys, all those white guys look alike. You know what I mean? It's true. all those white guys look alike.
All you white guys, you guys got an extra bone in your leg or something that makes you guys excel in college and fucking, I don't know. No, look, I think that he got his wires crossed. He probably heard some of the story and what doesn't really pay that much attention because he's fucking Snoop and doesn't have to. So he's a casual fan. And he just heard at one point that this guy that had a beef with, Tyron Woodley, took a picture with Trump, and he just didn't fucking know the story, right?
No,
he had no idea. So then he started getting all passionate about it and getting really into it, which is just kind of funny in general. I watched fights with, watching it with a casual fan, but like from the hood. My friend Yamanika came and watched the fights one time at a comedy club, and she's like a hilarious comedian. a big black woman, very loud, very like, dude, fucking such a funny chick. But she gets into it on another level, just like fucking straight up like hood, like just screaming at the TV. So Snoop, he got caught off guard there. But Darren Till took issue with it and tweeted, "Shit happens. Well done, T. Woodley. You will see me very soon, or you will all see me very soon." And then at Snoop Dogg, "You're a fucking bitch. Fuck you." So
fair enough. Fair enough. You see someone cheering your opponent on so vigorously like that, you do say fuck you. That's fair enough. Fair enough for Darren. I mean, I don't blame Snoop. I don't know if Snoop and Tyron are friends. They've probably met each other. I think they have actually up at Unbreakable Performance, a gym here in LA. Yeah, so what? No big deal. No big deal. He's supporting one of his friends. Of course, Darren's going to be a bit pissed off. But Tyron Woodley.
Well, Darren shouldn't. He shouldn't have even taken offense to it because it was obviously he didn't fucking know. Who he was even.
So do we think we're going to see Covington and Woodley? Because Woodley's not keen on that fight. I think they should definitely do it. Of course, I think Covington, as much as a fucking idiot he is, and he is an idiot of epic proportions, he's an absolute douchebag. But you can't deny that the guy was the interim champion. Who did he beat for? He beat Dos Anjos, in a legit fight for the interim belt. So therefore, that's the next logical matchup. And I think given the whole, there's kind of a political side to it now with him being a Trump supporter and guys like Snoop Dogg coming out and cheering fuck Trump and all the rest of it. I don't know. It'd be an interesting lead up to that fight.
I mean, it kind of is the only fight that, I really want to see right now. I wanted to see it more than I wanted to see the Till fight. You have a true bad guy in Colby Covington, which you don't get those too often. Even when they are bad guys, for the most part, they're sort of contrived. Like one guy is sort of pitted as the bad guy, but typically in MMA, there's not really like an actual guy who's like, oh, this guy's actually a dickhead. I want to see him get his fucking head smashed in. Most of the guys are fairly respectful, even when it gets heated. Like guys like you, they made you a bad guy, but you're not a bad guy. You're a good dude, even when you were on TV as being portrayed that way.
Listen, I've definitely, over the years, when I was in the UFC, done things that would be considered bad guy-esque for sure. But there was definitely some, namely? I talked shit. I ran my mouth. I don't know. You take your pick. There's plenty of them out there. But the UFC also like to, send a certain type of message. I mean, I'll give you the best example. I mean, of course, they were painting me as the bad guy, I recorded a season of The Ultimate Fighter with Jason Mayhem Miller, 2011. And on the show, Diego Brandao, who was on my team, he fought a guy called Steven Seiler. The fight started. Diego goes out, knocks out Steven Seiler it was brutal, man. It was fucking brutal. And afterwards, Steven Seiler, he's a bit upset. He's just been knocked out. He probably doesn't know where he is. He's a little emotional. There's a couple of tears. I get in the cage. I go over and I put my arms around him. I said, look, listen, it happens to everybody. Diego's an incredible fighter. Don't worry. You're young. You'll be back. Just gave him words of encouragement. Mm-hmm. When that episode, and then after that, me and Mayhem started getting into it, right? And we ended up having a stupid argument, and then Miller poured a bottle of water over me, and I said, fuck you, and all this and that. We had a big argument on TV. Now, when the episode aired, they edited it so that he gets knocked out, the guy's crying his eyes out, I jump in the ring and start going, fuck you, motherfucker. They left out all the bit where I console him, gave him words of encouragement. So the viewer at home thinks I'm the biggest fucking asshole you've ever seen in your life, because that was an asshole thing to do. But that's not what happened. As I say, the editors edited out all the bits where I was being nice and cool, and then over time I got into it with Miller. You know what I mean? So they do have the power to paint you like that. And then afterwards, I remember Dana said to me one day, and I'll never forget it, I might have said it. It was another time I'd been into the house. I had the whole of Las Vegas to go drink alcohol in. But of course, me, like a dickhead, I have to go into the house, see the team, and have drinks with them there. And our jiu-jitsu coach at the time did these drinks, caipirinhas, where you take cachaça and lime juice and sugar and mix it all together.
Famous drink.
And it's a great drink, yeah. It gets you fucked up beyond belief, okay? Especially when you drink obscene amounts of it on a reality TV show in Las Vegas. So the whole team's drinking all this, and we all end up out of our minds drunk. Now I'm pulling the camera off the cameraman, filming them, saying, hey, how do you like it? I'm giving my phone to all the contestants so they can call the family and shit. So in the end, I get thrown out of the house because I was being just a gigantic pain in the ass, basically, hammered drunk. The next day, the producer's like, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? You ever do that shit again? And anyway, Dana comes over and I'm like, yo, Dana, don't air that shit on the episode. Come on, man. And Dana said, Mike, let me give you some advice. And I'll never forget it. It was great advice. He said, if you don't want to look like an asshole on TV, don't act like an asshole on TV.
That's great.
And I was like, yeah, you're right. Because, you know, if you just don't give them the opportunity, they can't edit it that way.
They can only do so much. Yeah, you're right.
They can only do so much. I was like, yeah, you're right.
But,
fair enough. Oh,
but had they not edited you to be the asshole that you are, we probably wouldn't be sitting here today.
Well, I don't like that statement, the asshole that you are. That wasn't good. That was a subtle dig there, Luis.
Well, that was probably a Freudian slip. I meant to...
A Freudian slip. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now you know my true feelings. I think you're a good dude, Michael.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. It means a lot to me that I have your approval rating. At the top of the show, we spoke about Eddie Bravo calling in. How is that happening? Have you exchanged phone numbers and all that
Yes, we're
stuff?
calling Eddie right now.
Him?
Let's get him on the line right now.
Let's call Eddie right now. So Eddie predominantly now, we're going to speak to him. He has a grappling tournament coming up very soon. I have the details in front of me here on a laptop. Let's take a look. And that's not it. It's on my phone. He's started a thing called combat jiu-jitsu, which is great because obviously if you can punch somebody doing jiu-jitsu, everything changes. Now, of course, you can't punch in combat jiu-jitsu, but what you can do is open hand palm strikes. And I don't know if you've ever thrown an open-handed palm strike, Luis. Have you ever thrown an open-handed palm strike?
I mean, kind of. I think
they can be very powerful. You can get just as much. You get just as much force as what you can from a punch.
Wasn't like back in the day, like the old
hey, asa. It's called a Tai Uke, if I remember rightly. Tai Uke, from my Japanese jiu-jitsu terminology, Tai Uke Waza. Waza means technique. Uke is striking technique, I think.
Wasn't like pancration rules? Wasn't that the rules back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Open-handed to the face. So, is he calling in?
We're calling him right now. He's not answering? Yeah, she's texting him right now to make sure that it works.
Jeez Louise. Amateurs. Absolute amateurs.
He might be out there. He might be out there fighting conspiracies right now. Who knows?
He probably is. Hey, just quickly while we wait for Eddie Bravo, you know we had my friends from Playline on last week.
Yeah.
My company Playline. Well, now in honor of the Khabib versus Conor fight, it's available, guys, and you get you can win $1 million. The first prize is $4,000. Entry fee is $5. All you got to do is pick the winner, how many strikes thrown, how many strikes landed, how many takedowns attempted, and how many knockdowns. Go to playline.com, register. You get $5, a free $5 entry in this contest. Just use the promo code BelieveYouMe when you sign up. So playline.com, promo code BelieveYouMe. It's free $5 to enter this tournament. You get the perfect line bonus is $1 million, and the first prize is $4,000. There you go. You're welcome. That's not an advert. That's my company giving you a chance to make fucking money. Okay?
Well,
too many ads on Believe You Me. That's not an ad. That's me giving you.
It sounds like an advertisement.
Sounds what?
It sounds exactly like an advertisement.
It's a bit of product placement for my company, but whatever. Call it what you will, but it's not an ad on this show. They're not paying us anything.
This is not an advertisement either. Shame on you for believing that's an ad. If you thought that was an ad, shame on you, scumbags.
Do we have Eddie Bravo?
I don't know.
Shame.
He's not shaming Eddie Bravo.
He's not.
Shaming Eddie Bravo. All right. Well, he lost his chance. Oh, here's Tyron Woodley. Hold on. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm not going to read it all out. Oh, yeah. Tyron Woodley will call in 20 minutes.
Whoa. No way. Awesome. I like these impromptu bookings. Why don't we just go into your phone and do it? Every time we do it in advance, they fucking cancel. Every time we just randomly do shit on the show, magic happens. Why do we try to overplan the show? That's what I want to know.
Well, because we're going to have some kind of idea where we're going with it. People want to hear us talk about something interesting, so we've got to talk about it. If Tyron Woodley is going to call, I've got to send the number to him, right? To you guys.
Yes, Shannon will text you right now. She'll text you right now.
Contacts. Shannon. Hold on. No. I need to text you the number. There we go. Share contact. Message. Shannon, this is great podcasting at its finest. Share contact. It won't share contact.
I mean, you could do all of this in your head, and I'll just do a network plug or just something. I mean, I really could do anything. I'm of use here, you know.
All right, let's take a quick moment to hear from Perform Sleep. This is a bed that I sleep on. They sent me one recently, I got to say. Outstanding. Very much do enjoy this mattress. Of course, we're going to say that. But this thing is so convenient. It arrives in a box. You pull it out of the box. Boom. There you go. An amazing bed with copper cool technology. I don't know if you know much about that. But, Luis, tell the people what copper cool technology does.
So basically, it's a combination of gel particles and microscopic copper particles infused throughout the entire foam. It creates a cooler night. Copper, if they use it for healing a lot, you'll see this at if you go to a drugstore, there's copper braces and things, and it draws heat out of the body and keeps you nice and cool, which apparently helps for things like muscle recovery. Great if you got a bad back. Great if you're an athlete. If you got bad knees like Michael Bisping, who's complained a million times on the show, your entire bed has copper infused throughout it. It's a natural heat conductor. The copper particles in the foam transfer heat away from the body, and they give you more of a comfortable, cooler night's sleep. Imagine being able to turn your pillow over and over again all throughout the night, just happening over and over again. So,
and everybody wants the cool side of the pillow. Everybody wants that. If you don't want the cool side of the pillow, you're a weirdo.
Yeah, turn it off right now.
My wife definitely doesn't. But what you can do, if you want one of these amazing beds, and bearing in mind, the bed is, it's essential. You need a good mattress, and these are fantastic mattresses, as I say. I thoroughly recommend them. Perform Sleep are offering free shipping straight from the manufacturer to your front door. What does that do? It cuts out the middleman. So there's no retail markup, and it makes it a hassle-free experience. We also offer a 100-night in-home risk-free trial. This allows you to test out the mattress, see if you like it. If you don't like it, send it back. They don't care. We don't care. You know why? Because we know you're going to like it. So here's what you do. You go to performasleep.com. Performasleep.com. PERFORM. Performasleep.com. Use the promo code BELIEVE. We're going to give you $150 off any size mattress. Promo code BELIEVE. Performasleep.com. $150 off any mattress you want. Trust me, this bed is comfortable. It's awesome. It helps me sleep well. And the copper fuse technology really helps draw natural heat away from my body.
All right, let's get back into it.
Jessica Andrade versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Did you see that shit?
I did. And the only thing I'll say, and I'll say this over and over again every time we talk about Andrade, I can't say it enough. Fucking Justin Bieber face. Pull up a side by side. It's incredible.
All right, do it.
Same fucking face. It's bananas, okay? And she's, she's a handsome woman. It's the best way to describe her. She really is.
Well, let's see a side by side. Can we do that? Listen, Jessica Andrade went out there Saturday night and put on the performance of a lifetime against a very, very tough Karolina Kowalkiewicz, whatever the fuck you want to say it, however you say it.
You say Polish, potato.
I should know that. I say Kowalkiewicz. And you want to talk about her looking like Justin Bieber. That's what you want to talk about. She went out there. She looked like a classic old school Vanderlei Silva. She made short work of the very, very talented Karolina Kowalkiewicz, well, however you want to say it. That is a bit Justin Bieber-like, though.
Pull up a side by side. Look at this shit.
Yeah.
Come on, doggy.
Side by side. I need to see a split screen side by side, guys. Harrington.
Yeah, he's not good. It's going to be a whole to-do. He's not going to... But the time he gets that done...
Forget it. There is a resemblance. It's like... Who do you think people said to me when I was a kid? Who do you think everyone said that I looked like?
Ooh, I wonder who that is. Shannon, who do you think Bisping looks like?
Oh, Patrick Swayze?
Swayze.
Oh, my God!
Is that it?
Yeah.
Hey.
That's it. Good job. Okay, I see it now. Pull up Swayze.
My wife still says you're full of shit when I say that, because no one said. That's why I was shocked when you got it. But when I was at school, all the girls was like, "Oh, you look like Patrick Swayze big time," and I'll take it as a handsome devil.
Yeah, I 100% say it. Turn your face a little bit.
Hey, hold on.
No, the other way. Yeah, I say it.
Whatever. Yeah, that's weird.
I used to get The Rock.
You used to get The Rock. Okay.
The Rock. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I definitely don't see it.
The Rock says, "No, you're damn roll, Michael Bisping."
Hold on. Right, we're gonna call Tyron Woodley in 20 minutes. He just confirmed. Shannon, I've sent you the number. How about that? Amazing. We're getting the world champion.
Shit, I just realized
of his life. What did you realize?
We've trashed Tyron on his stand-up comedy, his rapping. We've spent a lot of time.
No, we haven't.
You're right. Fine. No, we haven't. Rapping. We've never done that. We haven't
trashed him on his stand-up comedy. When did we trash his stand-up comedy?
We not talk about?
Can we have a bit of respect for the champ, please?
I'm a huge fan of Tyron Woodley, but now I'm concerned that he might bring up the fact that in the past we've not been so complimentary. We're very complimentary of his fighting style, but are you giving me middle fingers?
Okay. Yeah, I am. Okay. 2 middle fingers, Nick Diaz style. You know where Nick Diaz actually called out Darren Till at the weekend? Did you see that?
Ooh, now here's the problem. This is actually the problem, because now Tyron's going to see that and is going to like, oh, do I want to go fight Colby Covington, who is, for all intents and purposes, a tougher fight than Nick Diaz, in my opinion, for a fraction of the interest and money probably, or am I going to go fight Nick Diaz in his comeback fight? I didn't see him calling it out, so pull up the call out if you can. That is a fight that everyone in the world wants to see. I think Nick Diaz gets smoked in that fight. Oh my God.
By Darren Till?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was Darren Till, or he said Tyron Woodley?
No. He called out Darren Till, I believe. I'm sure I saw it online at the weekend.
I apologize. I apologize. I thought you said Tyron.
Harrington, is that right? Am I getting that correct? I'm pretty sure I saw Diaz call out Darren Till at the weekend.
He's looking it up right now.
Right?
Yeah, he's all right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I saw it somewhere. For Tyron, I think Tyron deserves a big fight like that. He does. I mean, he goes out there, he keeps beating people. I mean, what more can you do? And if people want to say that Tyron isn't the most exciting fighter, which they do, and rightly so, because his fight with Damian Maia, it was strategic. I was asked on the pre-fight show at the weekend on Fox, how would I describe Tyron's run as a champion so far? And the word that I used was methodical. Okay, I didn't use it as mind-blowingly excited or anything like that. But the word is methodical because he's fought specialists. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who's a striking specialist that dances all over the octagon. He's very elusive and uses very orthodox kick. So that's a tough, very difficult opponent to train for. So he had strategic and methodical. And then he fought Damian Maia, who everybody knows if Damian Maia gets you on the floor, you're in a world of shit. It's as simple as that. And the possibilities of getting submitted are very high. So again, he had to fight very methodically, and so therefore he got this rap as being, a terribly boring fighter. Well, that put all that to bed at the weekend because that was the most exciting shit you'll ever see in your life. I mean, the first round, he didn't get him down or anything like that. But when he did explode, it was terrifying. And the second round, man, I mean, that stoppage was awesome. It really was. Dropped him with the right hand clean, followed it up with mean ground and pound, and then chokes him out. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I'll say it again, commiserations to Darren. But for Tyron Woodley, I mean, that silences all the critics. Yeah,
it does. And, I think that, I don't know, you know better than me, obviously, and you know better than most. Did he have to fight Darren that way? Because there's maybe a part of that I'm going like, he seems to pick the best strategy for his opponents lately. And it seems like he's fighting very smart fights. I feel like Darren Till, he's such a dangerous opponent that, when Tyron saw that opening, it wasn't the same thing as it's not because Wonderboy does have some knockouts as well. But I don't know.
Wonderboy knocked out Robert Whittaker, the middleweight champion right now. So he definitely has knockouts. The thing was, Darren was a victim of his own hesitation because he was very hesitant in that fight. In the second round, he's like, shit, I've got to do something. I haven't really thrown anything yet. So therefore, I have to throw something. So then as soon as he committed, he got aggressive. He went forward and Woodley timed it. That's what he does. He's got a great right hand. That's the shot that won him the belt against Robbie Lawler. That's the shot that put Stephen Thompson down. That's the shot that put Darren Till down and defended the belt. You know,
Well,
God bless him.
Look, the big fight that, you know, I'm sure that he's thinking about right now and everybody's been talking about for a while would be the George St. Pierre fight. And that's a fight that, you know, I guess GSP, the rumor is that he's going to want to drop down to 155 and fight Conor or whatever it is. But that is
GSP denied that this week. GSP denied that. He said, I'm not dropping down to 155. He said, I've you know, but who knows with George? He is an elusive character. You know, he never says exactly what's on his mind. I don't know why he's so fucking secretive about everything. Just be upfront. You know, you're not that big of a deal, George. No one give a fuck. He is an alien. He's impregnated by aliens. But he denies that. Tyron Woodley said he's not bothered. He said he doesn't need to fight GSP anymore to be considered the greatest of all time. I think for Tyron, that would be an amazing fight. And
look, 170. Look, there was such a disconnect, and there's so many, you know, people that have been between GSP and Tyron. I don't, you know, it's a different era now. You know, GSP, it would be. I think it's a really tough fight for GSP, considering the fact that Tyron seems to have all of the skill sets that GSP has, but much more explosive and seems to have that finishing instinct when he really wants to. You know, what I was trying to get at before when I was asking you about kind of the Till fight is, do you think that Tyron made a decision that he, you know, just was kind of was going to stop this fight? Or do you think that, I didn't even really understand the question that I'm asking. I apologize. I'm just saying, like, it seems like he wanted to make a statement.
Lewis, if you don't understand the question that you're asking,
I know.
How am I supposed to answer it?
Because I'm putting it the wrong way.
The level of genius that I possess, I think I can decipher from your rumblings what you're trying to ask me. Listen, here's the thing. Tyron had to finish that fight in style, you know, but of course, the most important thing for Tyron is to win, regardless of however he does it, whether it's his decision, knockout, submission, exciting, boring, who cares? When you're the champ, the objective is to walk out of there as the champ. Yeah, of course he wants a stoppage. Everyone wants a stoppage, and if you can get it, fantastic. The way Tyron fights, generally you're going to get a stoppage. And the good thing for Tyron is when you're fighting somebody much taller than you, which Tyron was, the overhand right is a beautiful shot to throw. I used to train with this fucking dickhead in Liverpool years ago, towering Tony fuckface, if you know who you are, Tony Moran, kiss my ass. He was a good boxer, but he was like 6'7", lanky, streaky beanpole piss. And the overhand right was great. You know, you land it on them every time. And so as Darren came in, boom, overhand right, puts him down, follows it up. You know what I mean? Yeah, if he hadn't have dropped him, he would have carried on fighting the same way. But if you drop them, you swarm on them. Simple as that. That's what you do.
Yeah, we'll talk to Tyron about it more because he's going to shed light on all of these questions. Yeah, I'm just excited to see what happens next. You know, Nick Diaz coming back and wanting to fight Darren Till. That's interesting as hell. I didn't think Diaz would be interested in a fight like that. A guy coming off of losing the title shot. Yeah.
Well, I think Diaz probably realizes that he's not going to walk straight into a title fight. You know, after all this time away. You know, I mean, you never know. I mean, you know. He's got a huge name and a big following, so maybe, but I doubt it. After losing to Anderson, 4 years ago almost, maybe longer, and then walking straight into a title fight, I don't see that happening. He sees Till, after what Tyron Woodley did to him, he probably sees Till as an easy matchup, which is wrong, and he'd be very mistaken to think that, but obviously that's what he's thinking. I come out of my hiatus, I beat Darren Till, then he fights for a title. That would make sense. You know, if he was to beat Till, then he probably could get a title fight. So that's probably his logic, I would have thought.
Yeah, I guess Harrington found the video, and he says that, I've never had an easy fight in my life. Stop making these bullshit fights for the UFC. Then he said, I would fight that kid when asked about Till. So it wasn't necessarily like him calling out Till necessarily or asking for it. It was more or less saying he would take that fight. And, you know, Diaz seems like he's got a lot of ADD. So who knows?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely seems like that.
All right, let's talk about one of our great new sponsors on the show, which is Mint Mobile. The big wireless provider stands for a lot of things, Mike. Big contracts, big bills, big fees. What Big Wireless doesn't want you to know is that there is a way to cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month with Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile has taken everything wrong with Big Wireless and made it right. With Mint Mobile, you can save over $1,000 a year without sacrificing quality.
Yes, Mint Mobile makes it easy to cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month. Very, very cheap. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your old number along with all of your contacts. Choose between 2, 5, or 10 gigabyte 4G LTE plans. No more paying for unlimited data that you're never going to use. And if you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile have you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee. So realistically, if those bills are piling up every month, here's your solution. Here's your answer.
I switched.
Mint Mobile. You did? Oh, tell us, please.
I made the switch, okay, because we were doing the reads with them, and I ended up speaking to the people at Mint Mobile, and they're super cool. First of all, really cool company. And the idea here, it's almost like we talked about this before. There's no retail location, so there's no overhead with rent. There's nothing like that. They're not specializing in having cell phones, so they don't have this crazy inventory stocked. So basically, the savings are passed on to you. And if you check the amount of data you use, you're not using a crazy amount of data. Most people are using around 5 gigs a month. 10 gigs is more than most people. You can actually check and see how much you're using. So the whole idea of unlimited data, it's sort of a farce. We're paying for a bunch of stuff we don't need, and they figured out a way to cut it down to $15 a month. I'm telling you right now, I'm putting a little bit of money every single week away. I'm taking my kid on a nice vacation next year just with the money that I'm saving on Mint Mobile, which is awesome. And you can use your own existing phone as long as it's unlocked, or they do actually sell phones as well. So whatever you want to do, iPhone, Android, however you want to do it. Also, so it's not like it's this crappy service. They're using the same. I don't want to point out the company's lines that they use, but they're using the polls from one of the big companies. So you're getting the same quality service as you would for another big company. You're just not paying all the BS and all the middleman crap. So this is the way you can get involved, Mike.
Yeah, no, for sure. You can get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, plus free shipping on your Mint Mobile SIM card. Very simple. Go to mintmobile.com/believe. That is mintmobile.com/believe. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month and get free shipping on your Mint Mobile SIM card at mintmobile.com/believe.
All right, let's get back into it.
We need to talk about this. Nicco Montano. Of course, we can all recognize Nicco Montano from a lineup, from whatever you want, but she was stripped of the belt at the weekend.
I know.
Could you pick her out of a lineup, Luis? Because you were asking me last week, and I said there's no point playing this game because I could pick her out of a lineup because I know everything about the UFC because I'm a MMA genius. But could you? Do you know what she looks like? I know you're Googling her right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a Google image. If she was right in front of me, I'd pick her out easily.
Yeah. What do you think of this whole situation?
Look, I think that the UFC, it seems like they pick and choose the punishments. I think there needs to be some sort of clear-cut criteria because there has been other times when fighters have had to pull out due to medical reasons and they haven't stripped them of their title. Nicco Montano, obviously not.
Well, one in particular that happened to Shevchenko again. Of course, Shevchenko was Montano's opponent at the weekend. Montano couldn't make weight, couldn't continue to cut weight. She had to go to the hospital and ultimately withdraw from the fight. Her opponent, Shevchenko, had that happen to her in another title fight against Amanda Nunes.
Yes,
Amanda Nunes,
that's right.
The exact same thing. Yeah, Amanda Nunes had to go to the hospital. Something similar, regardless, and she wasn't stripped. I kind of feel for Nicco Montano here. I do. I understand why the UFC would do it because it's been a long time since she won the belt and she hasn't fought. But she had her tonsils out. She got sick. She had some kind of inflammation in her body or something, and then now she got sick and couldn't continue the fight or couldn't even continue cutting weight to make it to the fight. I don't think she should have been stripped, but I kind of understand why the UFC did it. I really do. I mean, ultimately, all right, let's talk about this. The weigh-in at the weekend, the reason it went wrong is Nicco Montano's fault. It's not like she was sick. When anybody's cutting weight and they have to cut the weight cut short because, my body's going to break down, I'm going to die, it's because you fucked up. It's because you messed up the entire weight cut process. It's because you wasn't professional in training camp. You didn't make adjustments. I mean, as you're preparing for a fight camp, you look at your weight. You get out of bed every single day and you check your weight. That's the first thing you do. Me, when I'm in fight camp, I get out of bed, I go to the bathroom, I try and piss as hard as I can to be as light as possible. Then I step on the scale. And you look at that weight. That's your true weight when you get out of bed every morning. Okay? And then you think, oh, shit, this is going on track. Or this is not on track. I need to make some changes. And halfway through the training camp, if you're looking at your weight and that weighing scale isn't saying what it should do, then you need to make some changes, whether it's more running, more treadmill, more whatever, stricter diet, fewer carbs. You make changes. And then if you get to 24 hours before and you're trying to cut weight and you've got too much weight to cut and you can't physically do it and doctors are saying you've got to stop or you're going to die, well, then you fucked up. You fucked up in your preparations, and I've got limited sympathy. Yeah, I feel sorry for you. Yeah, I'm sorry you got stripped. Yeah, I'm sorry that, you didn't get your payday, and I'm sure she needed that money. But the reality, if you want to take the empathy out of it, the reality is that you fucked up along the way.
Yeah, I guess she said that there have been issues with fighters reestablishing their metabolism after being in the tough house, and that's why she didn't want to take the fight, but the UFC forced her to, and that.
Well, yeah, because if you have the belt, you have to fight.
Yeah.
If you have the belt, you have an obligation to defend it. And if you don't want to defend it, you have to be stripped or, the belt will be relinquished. It will be taken from you, which is what we saw.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit easier to swallow when that's sort of a clear-cut rule. And I think we've seen that happen with everything from judging to refereeing to sort of policy, where it's like you don't really know. So I guess the answer here is to be prepared, be professional, because then they can't take it away from you. Almost the same thing what Dana White said to you, which is, if you don't look like an asshole on TV, don't be an asshole on TV. If you don't want to fucking have the belt taken from you, make weight. Do what you got to do. Don't give them any excuse or any area where they can take it from you, especially if you're not a star. Nicco, we made the joke last week. What?
Yeah. You've got to make weights.
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, I was saying
finish your sentence.
We were making the joke last week about not knowing who she is, but look, there is some truth to that. You're not an established star yet. You're not somebody who people are chomping at the bits like, oh, I got to meet Nicco Montano, UFC fucking strawweight chick. Get the fuck out of here. Let's get real. You have to go out and you're not Conor. Conor gets special treatment and people can complain all they want about it. But the reality is, he sells the tickets, he puts asses in seats. And when you can move the needle, then you have a little bit more room to do those things. But I understand, look, as a fan, you kind of want to see things a little bit more black and white.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, you don't make weight. You're not fulfilling your obligations. As a professional fighter, I've probably said this on here before, so my apologies. But as a professional fighter, realistically, there's only two things you can control. One, that you show up on weight. Number two, that you're in a physical condition, that your cardio, your stamina, your cardiovascular levels are good enough that you can go the distance at a good pace. I hate it when I see a fighter gassed after one round. I'm like, this motherfucker's not a professional and he shouldn't be being compensated accordingly, like he is a professional fighter. And then on top of that, as I said, you got to make weight. They're the only two obligations, only two things that you can control. Winning the fight, of course you want to win the fight, but you can't control that. You'll see what happens on the night. But turning up in shape and on weight, yeah, only you can control that. And if you don't do that, and you can't do that, and you can't make weight, then there's fucking consequences. And unfortunately, I am sympathetic towards her, but, this is the world we're in.
Shannon, Eddie Bravo's people just emailed us, so yeah, get on that as well. So I guess we could probably have Eddie on maybe after Tyron. Figure this all out.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
Is it about that time
Should we try Tyron?
Yeah, I say give Tyron a call right now. I'll say real quick, if you guys love the show, we have over 80 episodes available on demand. Every episode we've ever done, the latest 15 are available on iTunes, and the latest 4 are available on YouTube. But our entire library is available on demand when you want it. You also get pre-release on the episodes, ad-free episodes. I know people hate listening to advertisements. The message board, live chat, and more. GasDigitalNetwork.com is the website. Use the promo code BYM. Get a 14-day free trial for all of the premium access to this show and the other 21 shows on the network. Andrew Dice Clay show premiering tonight on the Gas Digital Network, which is pretty incredible.
Can you believe that we are soon approaching show 100?
We got to do something special. We got to do it in person.
We'll do it in person. We'll have a bunch of guests.
We do a live show.
I think I'm going to come up to... I don't know about that.
Why? We'll get a cut. I don't know. Can I explain to you?
Well, we'll talk about that another time. But go on, explain it to me.
Well, this is what I do. I do podcasting and I do live podcasting every week. We could do a live show, small, intimate venue, 100 fucking people, 150 people, me, you, get a couple special guests that can come out, do a couple little segments, have some fun, get the fans involved, sell some tickets, eat some popcorn, have some high fives, do a little meet and greet. The people love it. Tweet at us if you would come in Los Angeles. I'll come out to LA.
Tweet at us if you would come. And go on the Believe You Me podcast Instagram page, which is Believe You Me podcast. I think I'm going to come up to New York next week, incidentally. If you're around. Are you here? Are you here?
Oh, yeah.
Are you there?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
who we got here?
We have Tyron's here. Ladies and gentlemen, UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley joins the Believe You Me podcast.
Only because my homie that got hands that know we out here can call me on the day of and get this interview.
What's up, my brother? Hey, first and foremost, we out here. We always say that's Tyron's little saying. Tyron, first and foremost, on behalf of everyone at the Believe You Me podcast, well done, man. That was fucking amazing.
Well, I appreciate that, my man, for sure. And you had it right, man. As I told you earlier, one thing that you can count on me is being real. I'm going to be real 100% of the time. Some people like it, some people don't. I was a little bit nervous, and I think you as a fighter, as a champion, you can recognize it. You look a little bit nervous, and I was. I was carrying a lot in that fight, not only just the victory itself, not only what comes after the victory, but it's a lot of people I'm feeding, a lot of people that are relying on me, and a lot of adversity, a lot of weapons that were formed against me. And everybody wants to see a win. And the blueprint and the writing on the wall and the storyline looked almost to be as if they were grooming this young man to do a Conor McGregor. But not on my watch. Not today. Not never.
Well, fair enough. And you're right, Tyron. I mean, going into that fight, I mean, of course, they're trying to build Darren Till. Everyone knows who you are. So you could argue that they were just trying to build him and give you a worthy opponent and help with the pay-per-view sales. But he did seem to get the bulk of the marketing going into that fight. And, you're bound to be nervous. I mean, that was another title defense. Winning world titles is not an easy thing, but you've done that 4 times now. Congratulations. It's incredible. I guess we'll get into the next fight soon. But what did you do Saturday night after you won the belt? What happened? Talk us through the celebrations.
I didn't even bring nothing to go out and visiting. I didn't even bring no clothes like to step out to a nightclub. I expected to win, and I just really wanted to chill out with my family members. Eat the pizza and just relax a little bit. So I didn't go ham. I didn't turn up because I expected to win.
Yep.
Was there, that was the thing, kind of going into the fight, people were, I don't know what the questions were, but there was a lot of talk about, is Tyron fighting safer? We saw performances with you against Wonder Boy and Damian Maia, and kind of similar to almost George St. Pierre, which there's been a lot of comparisons to with you and GSP. Is Tyron kind of taking it safer, and is he kind of putting together game plans to, just keep the title? Were you trying to make any sort of statement on Saturday night, or did it just happen the way it happened?
I was forced to use new tools. I had to tore my right labrum. That was my moneymaker. Can you guys hear me okay? Is it coming through clear for you guys?
Yeah, we can hear you good.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cause let me take it off my Bluetooth. It's coming back choppy to me, but I can hear you guys clear.
That's better.
You sound silky smooth, Tyron, just like your fucking boxing.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll just ignore it as long as you guys can hear me clear. But yeah, I had to work on new tools. Jabbing high, using my left hand more, left hooks, punching to the body, throwing kicks, moving. I know if I was planning to fight myself and I was Darren Till, which is the way I make all my game plans, bullying him, push him back, get his back against the octagon, use range, very similar to what McDonald did. If he tried to blitz in quick and be explosive, move out of the way. Weather the storm early, look and see if you get him in the 4th or 5th round, and then at that point, then try to, roll the dice. That's what I would think that his team people would say to him. So I was forced to use other tools. But if you look at the opposite end of the coin on what people say, when they say you fight smart or you fighting safe, do they want you to fight stupid and they want you to fight unsafe? They want you to be reckless and they want you to fight illiterate? That's the opposite of fighting smart. and fighting safe. So just think about how that sounds. Who on freaking earth would want to do that? I always fight for the finish. Does the finish always come? No. Sometimes you got to be patient and create those openings. And Wonder Boy, I got very few openings. He's just very hard to hit. He's long. He's a lot quicker than what he looks like. Film. And then I got those opportunities. When I got those opportunities, I went for the kill. And it was actually in the later rounds. Same thing with Damian Maia. It's very hard to knock somebody out that's consistently on your legs, grabbing and going for a takedown to put them in their best position. Every fight I've ever fought in my life, I never went out there and said, let me win this by close decision. I've always thought, knock this motherfucker out. Try to submit him. Try to hurt him. It's always what I think. But you have to, when you're trying to create a legacy and you're trying to, reign over a very difficult division, you got to be smart with the way you try to finish. Not play it smart, not play it safe. Be smart in the way you go for the finish.
Totally agree. And in fact, that's what I said of Fox at the weekend. I mean, they asked me to describe your title reign so far. And I said, listen, it's been methodical because you fought two specialists that are very difficult people to fight. You can't just go out there swinging like crazy, fighting like a moron, trying to get the finish. You gotta be careful. You gotta pick the openings, and that's what you did. I think that Darren was a victim of his own timidness, and then in the second round, he thought he was under pressure to come forward and be aggressive because he hadn't thrown much. Because I think he was worried about your wrestling, but then when he ran in, he ran straight onto the right hand. So, and that was the beginning of the end. But how did you feel about his takedown defense in the first round? You got double underhooks and you weren't able to get him down. Did that concern you at all?
No, it didn't concern me. I didn't actually drive him to the octagon, Mike. He pulled himself to the octagon. He basically wanted to do 2 against 1. Octagon and himself both defending the takedown. So I expected him to, try to keep position. Most other guys he would have been aggressive with, overhooking, looking to throw elbows. He knew at that point any opening I was going to get for the takedown. It didn't make a lot of sense for me to drop down on his legs and let him extend and stretch me out. Then he would have started throwing those strikes. So I saw when he threw his punches, he really throws his whole body. He's kind of light in the ass. He get really straight up and down. So I knew it would be an opportunity for me to do a leg hook, a leg trip, but I also recognized he had some great balance and had a lot of height. And if it came down to the difference between me taking him down and him getting warm from grabbing the cage, I knew he would grab the cage. So I locked up the body lock. I did, what I needed to do, kept the distance close. I knew if I was going to be able to get the takedown, but if not, no worries. I was still going to try to outstrike him anyway.
And also in the first round, do you think that the referee separated you guys early?
Yeah, he did. But listen, this is the thing.
That was bullshit, Tyron. That was bullshit.
Yeah. I've lost focus like that before where, I was in a fight when I fought Nate Marquardt. I knocked him down, and my God, did I throw 20 punches in a row. I took one break after throwing 20 punches, after knocking him down and nearly sending him to Jesus. And they broke it up right then. And it meant to like, what the hell, man? You know what? Now I did all the work. Now he gets to get up fresh. So I just told myself that, hey, he broke it up, whatever. Go right back to the game plan. Get back on the game plan. That's what I just kept telling myself.
So, of course, now everybody's looking to see what's next. I mean, you just finished an amazing fight at the weekend. People should give you some time, really. But everyone wants to know, GSP, Colby Covington, you got lots of choices, maybe a Nick Diaz. The one that everyone, obviously, is mentioning is Colby Covington. And I'm sure you're sick of answering this question, Tyron. So, my bad. I'm fucking sorry, man. But what have you got to say to Colby Covington right now?
You know what? I'm not mad at the question because I can tell you why. Everybody wants to see me whoop his ass. That's it.
Yep. Oh, me too, buddy.
He's a complete douchebag, and he's irritated so many different types of people: black, white, political, Brazilian, homosexual, people that believe in Star Wars. Any person you can think of, thank you, man. Thank you. he just annoyed every type of person. So now Everybody wants to see me whoop his ass. And the thing is,
and those Star Wars fans, they don't fuck about.
Tougher matchup than he. Usman is a tougher matchup than he. He's not even the best matchup for me. So it's like he asked for the fight, got the fight, and then bitched out. It's kind of like, dude, get out of here.
And what about?
But to answer the question, I will fight him though.
Is he the next? Is he the next guy on the horizon, or is there anybody else that you would rather fight? In a perfect world, right now, they come to you and say, "Who's your opponent that you want? Who's the guy?" You prefer to say that?
I don't know what world you've been in, but they don't do that with me. If I talk about fighting somebody, or if I talk about what card I want to fight on, fans is not fucking with it at all. So therefore, I'm taking a new stance. Put them in front of me and get their ass whooped.
Wow. That's
so
great.
what about November 30th?
I can't do it, man. You know, I wanted to go up in middleweight and challenge the great Bisping. I wanted to fight freaking GSP. I wanted to fight Nate. I wanted to fight Nick. Anybody I mentioned, I got tortured. I mean, not only by the promotion, but also by the fans. And I was asking for fights that I thought were good career fights, because these people that I wanted to fight, in my mind, are people that I looked up to. They were legendary.
Right.
And those guys were Hall of Famers. And I thought I needed to fight those guys to become on their level. But I guess
honestly,
my path to being the GOAT, that's not it.
Well, I think now, Tyron, you're definitely in discussion for one of the greatest of all time. Certainly, I think at welterweight, it's you and GSP. I mean, that was already set in stone. But after the week, I mean, that was an incredible performance. It was unbelievable. So what about November 30th, Madison Square Garden? Is that too soon for you and Colby? Because that's the date that he's saying.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that card. I mean, my manager was calling me as I started this interview, so I don't know if he has some information about a fight. So if he tells me something when I hop off the line with you guys, I shoot y'all a message just so y'all know.
All right.
I don't know for sure. I'm just not in the business of saying no right now, man. No, I'm at a point right now where I feel good. I'm glad to be back. I just don't think none of these welterweights have anything for me. I respect everybody. I train for the worst case scenario, but when it comes to this game of mixed martial arts, I just take it way too seriously. You know, I'm in it for the right reasons. It's going to be very difficult to beat me.
You had mentioned the welterweights not having much for you, and you had also mentioned possibly, in the past talking about going up and fighting Bisping. Is that something that still interests you in the future? Possibly moving up. It seems to be a new time. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm at the carpool grab my kids. But
no, it's okay.
So I would definitely, especially when you got the current middleweight guys that are fighting for a title, are both oversized welterweights. You know what I mean? Already beat Kelvin. Robert Whitaker, the tough stud. He had 2 good fights with Yoel Romero. But he lost to Wonder Boy, a guy that I fought a couple times. So, right now I love the game of mixed martial art. I love where it's at. I love what I see when I watch it. Zabib and freaking, Aljamain pulling out these crazy-ass submissions. Tatiana Suarez completely, I heard Carla was thrown up in a hospital from concussion just from the amount of abuse she took. So I'm just excited to be at the top of the food chain during this moment. And whoever they put in front of me, man, I just want to do better and better and better and be more dominant every single time. And that's all I'm focused on. I mean, I'll eventually get that fight everybody wanted me to get. You know what I mean? That big fight. But I just can't call for it myself. The fans will do it for me, and when they do it, then I'll step up and I'll rise to the occasion.
Well, I'll say this right now. I definitely sign off on you versus the winner of Gastelum and Whittaker, because as you said, you've beaten Gastelum already. Whittaker was a welterweight, so it totally makes sense. I know you're busy. You're very gracious with your time, Tyron, so we'll let you go in a second. Finally, let's speak about something a bit more upbeat and lighthearted. Your rap album, your song debuts. I mean, is that released yet with Wiz Khalifa?
We're dropping it Friday, man. We're gonna do a sneak peek of it earlier this week, but the world premiere of it is going to be Friday. It's a track entitled "I'll Beat Your Ass," and after this weekend, I don't think nobody gonna disagree with me that I will beat your ass. So it's featuring artist T-Double and also Wiz Khalifa I've sampled it around to a lot of different DJs, record labels, and execs. Everybody's completely crazy about this song. It's gonna go ham. So make sure you guys check out "I'll Beat Your Ass." T-Double, Wiz Khalifa. It's hitting every platform on Friday.
Sweet. And what about the acting, Tyron? Anything else on the horizon there?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I just got an offer for a role today that I'm gonna accept. I can't talk about it yet, but it's
sick.
Got an offer for a role today, so yeah, I'm gonna accept that, and yeah, we're gonna get it cracking.
Beautiful, man. Well, listen, once again, thanks for joining us, Tyron. I really appreciate it, buddy. Congrats again at the weekend. All the best. No doubt. See you soon.
All right, thank you, guys.
Congrats, buddy.
All right, man. Take care,
Thanks.
Tyron.
Yeah.
Bye.
Great. I'll tell you this much. Tyron's what I don't know if it's his management or whatever it is, but perfect answers. Perfect. Like literally the exact thing you want the guy to say. Put him fucking in front of me. I'll knock him down. I don't know how calculated that is, if his attitude has truly changed, but literally he said that and I had goosebumps. I saw Harrington's face. He was like, yeah, it's you, whatever it is, you just kind of have to have that attitude. And I think that attitude is going to get him really far with a lot of fans because he's debatably the most exciting fighter right now in the UFC. I mean, that performance was fucking bananas.
Oh, no, it really was bananas. I mean, at the end of the day, I spoke about it on the post-fight show. I mean, people boo and things like that. And you spoke about it. I think I basically reiterated what you'd said. You know, people don't want to see a professional athlete playing the victim and things like that. But that doesn't mean just because you're a professional athlete, just because you're a world champion or it appears to people on the outside that you have the world at your feet, it doesn't mean that things aren't unfair in your life. You know, so therefore, even though it looks like everything's perfect for this guy, doesn't mean everything's perfect. It doesn't mean that they haven't got gripes with their employee. It doesn't mean they may not be pissed off with the UFC or they feel like they're getting a fair shake. So I understand you saying that, and I said it as well, but you've got to look at it from Tyron's perspective. When things aren't going the way he wants them, he's allowed to feel pissed off about certain things. I think now, after that weekend, after that performance, you know, that is the best thing. So listen, just line him up. I'll knock him down. And I don't see
and it's not
anybody,
a commentary.
There's no one at welterweight that's going to beat him right now.
Yeah, crazy. Nobody. And it's not a commentary. It's less a commentary on Tyron and more a commentary on the way the fans react and perceive things. They're very fair weather. And you'll see right now, everyone's going to be like, Tyron, holy shit, second coming of Hercules, because he had this amazing performance and he knocked it down till the way he did. And people will just forget that he had a couple, you know, quote unquote safe performances where he didn't have the most exciting finishes, because it's just the flavor of the month. People just forget. They don't think about any of that shit. It's whatever they're sort of fed at the moment. So, and we have, by the way, we do have Eddie Bravo on the line. So we have to go to Eddie right now.
Oh, let's do it. Let's go.
Okay, Eddie's on the line.
Very cool. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen,
Eddie Bravo.
Michael Bisping, how you doing?
Hey, there he is, my man. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. You're on with myself and Luis J. Gomez. Last time I saw you, Eddie, we were nearly fighting in a hotel casino. or the World MMA Awards. I know. No, you know how the MMA media likes to get shit out of proportion. Yeah. That was just too much tequila. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Oh, we're fantastic. So, Anthony Evans, my friend from the UFC, and of course, your colleague as well. Tell us all about what's coming up.
You're very low. I can barely hear you. Can you speak more in the mic, please?
Luis, can you speak?
Yeah, I can speak. Mike comes in because you guys are both coming in on different lines to a studio in New York. Unfortunately, Mike just comes a little bit lower for you. I'm really sorry, Eddie. Can you hear him at least? Okay. Can you make out what he's saying?
Yeah, I could make it out.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, we got to figure that out. Okay. But continue, Mike.
So Eddie, tell us about Combat Jiu-Jitsu and this quintet tournament that's coming up soon, because this is very interesting.
Well, they're two separate tournaments. September 29th is EBI 17, and it's the first time ever that we're doing a 16-man combat jiu-jitsu tournament. So that's going to be fucking nuts. Jesse Taylor from the UFC, he's the heavy favorite in that one. We also got 3-time world champion, black belt world champion, Felipe Fogolin. He's also a favorite in there. We got UFC veterans Josh Neer, Tamden McQuarrie, and we got a couple of my guys who are coming up who are on the rise. A couple killers from 10th Planet Bethlehem. We got John Thor Blank. He's amazing. He just won a super fight in Kasai against a DDS guy, one of their top guys. And then we got Kyle Chambers from 10th Planet Oceanside, who's extraordinary leg locker, who's jumping in to combat jiu-jitsu for the first time. This one's going to be insane. It's going to be nuts. It's, there's a lot of submission-only tournaments out there popping up everywhere, but this is going to be a 16-man combat jiu-jitsu with some palm strikes. It's going to be insane.
Well, talk to us about that specifically, because it makes it a different game, obviously. Palm strikes, it changes up the ground game completely. How'd you kind of come up with the concept, and just kind of talk to us a little bit about the difference between, watching regular jiu-jitsu, and obviously, the strikes make a difference, but from the competitor standpoint, how much of a difference is it making?
Well, originally, before EBI was born, I was trying to start a combat jiu-jitsu promotion, and, because there's strikes involved, you have to get the commission involved. So I had to go to commission and try to get the rules sanctioned, and it was difficult. I wanted to do it on an open mat with no gloves and 1 10-minute round, and they didn't. The commission didn't really know what it was, and they just thought, you got to have it in a cage, and you got to have gloves on, and we're going to give you 3 2-minute rounds. And I was like, I wanted 1 10-minute round because it's grappling. And so we tried a couple combat jiu-jitsu matches about 6-7 years ago. They had mixed results, and it just doesn't look good in a cage. And then I decided, I'm just going to do submission only and not have the commission involved. And so we did a few EBIs, and then after EBI 11, I approached the commission once again and asked them if I could do combat jiu-jitsu, outside of a cage, without gloves, 1 10-minute match. And then after they saw what I was doing with EBI, they realized, let's okay these rules, and they pushed it through. Combat jiu-jitsu was officially born. So then we started sprinkling in combat jiu-jitsu matches in regular EBI, submission-only style, and now we're at a point where it's time to go. Anytime we're having the men compete, we're going to do combat jiu-jitsu. When the females compete, we're going to keep that sub-only. But from this point on, EBI is going to be combat jiu-jitsu with the guys, and that's what I wanted originally. It's nothing new. This was the plan from the start, and it's a beautiful.
So
thing.
let me ask you this, Geddy. So let me ask you this. So I remember I bought your book back in the day, Rubber Guard. Is that what it was called? I think so. And it talked at the start about how, the gi versus the no gi, and you were a big proponent of no gi, of course. So my question is, this is even further away from jiu-jitsu, if you will. How is this being received by the jiu-jitsu community? Because, of course, allowing strikes in there changes it massively. What are the hardcore jiu-jitsu people saying about this? How have they accepted it?
Well, you know what? Well, when I formed EBI with the sub-only rules, the traditional jiu-jitsu community, they were against it because they've been against heel hooks and sub-only. The heel hooks are super important in sub-only. So there's always been a resistance from the Brazilian jiu-jitsu community from day one against sub-only, because of the leg locks. And the fact that there's not a point system, and that's what they were brought up on. But now with the combat jiu-jitsu, now leg locks, although they're still legal, now they're a little more dangerous. It changes things up now. In sub-only, the mount isn't that important, but in combat jiu-jitsu, the mount is very important. So all combat jiu-jitsu is just getting a little closer to reality. So if getting a little closer to reality with your grappling, if that bothers you, then you may be in the wrong sport. At this point, now the traditional Brazilian jiu-jitsu community, they should be happy that EBI is morphing into combat jiu-jitsu because, it was the sub-only format that they were against to begin with. So on paper, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu community should like combat jiu-jitsu more than sub-only. Will it turn out that way? Will it play out that way? I don't know. There's a huge resistance, with me and between me and there's a huge resistance against the sub-only movement when it comes to the Brazilian jiu-jitsu community. So I don't know how it's going to work out, but we're just going to keep going forward anyway.
Okay, so that's the next EBI. But on Friday, October 5th, we have live on Fight Pass, so people can watch it on Fight Pass if you subscribed. If not, I recommend people get Fight Pass. It's very cheap and it's a fantastic thing to have. But we have Quintet, the debut of a new show called Quintet, which sounds unbelievable. It sounds very interesting. We've got Kazushi Sakuraba with the team. We've got Team Polaris. We've got 10th Planet with the team, and Team Alpha Male headed by Uriah Faber. Just explain what Quintet is. And tell us all about it.
Well, Quintet is in. This is the third show. Quintet.
Oh, my apologies.
It's a team versus team. It's 5-on-5, not at the same time. It's one at a time, but it's a unique sub-only format, which is team oriented. And the first Quintet, Team Polaris, they won. Craig Jones is just a monster. He just denied everybody. And then Quintet 2, which was also in Japan, our 10th Planet won that. We won that one. You could watch that on UFC Fight Pass. And this one is the first time Quintet it's actually debuting in the United States. So it's going to be in Vegas the Friday before the Conor fight with Khabib. So it's going to be a crazy weekend in Vegas. And then, Team Polaris is going to, the winner of Quintet 1, they're going to be there. 10 Planet's going to be there. And Sakuraba, he revamped his team. He put Josh Barnett back in there, so they're going to be a monster. And then, of course, Team Alpha Male is in there. So this is going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy. And if you got to just get on UFC Fight Pass and watch the show from start to finish. And if you're a grappling fan, you're going to love it. It's an amazing concept.
Very, very cool. I wanted to just ask about this really quick because I know we're talking a lot about the submission grappling and jiu-jitsu and what's going on with Fight Pass, but I would be I have to ask about Tony Ferguson. I would be remiss if I was Michael Bisping and I spoke like a proper English gentleman. I would be remiss to not ask you about Tony Ferguson. We all saw, the video of him showing off his rehab knee. What's going on with Tony? How's that coming along? And also, I guess he's keeping in shape right now, just in case there is some sort of mishap with Conor or Khabib. Just talk to us a little bit about Tony and what's going on with him.
Well, Tony is scheduled for that card with Khabib and Conor. He's fighting Anthony Pettis.
Oh, that's the same card.
And if anything happens to Khabib or Conor, Tony's going to move right in. So the UFC is smart, and they got a backup plan there. So we're scheduled to fight Pettis, and his training camp's going great. He's already in tip-top shape. He's an incredible cardio machine, and he does all the proper work, and that translates to all the rehab work on his knee. He's got his own gym now. He's got all the latest recovery equipment, red light therapy, those leg sleeves that kind of blow up and pressurize your legs. He does that all day. He's doing all sorts of. He's in tip-top shape right now. I'm surprised he recovered. So I'm just as surprised as everyone else that he's recovered so quickly, and he's ready to go.
Very cool. And also, we have to ask you, if you have Eddie Bravo on your podcast, you can't not ask him about some of his conspiracy theories. Are you? Is
the Earth flat, Eddie? Is the Earth flat?
Hell yeah, it's flat.
Are you serious? Explain, please.
Well, convince us, because Mike Bisping, at the top of the show, he went off on a whole rant about how it is a spherical Earth that we live on, and I don't know. I'm in the middle. Who knows? Okay, it might be even a fucking cube shape for all I know. Can you explain really quick? Elevator pitch. Convince me. I'm on the fence right now. Could be a sphere. Could be flat. Go.
If the world really is round and has a circumference of 25,000 miles, then if this ball is 3/4 water, then you'd be able to detect curvature in the water. And if you do the math, at 100 miles in the ocean, there would be 6,600 feet of curvature. So that means that at 100 miles, if you had the most powerful telescope in the world, you would not be able to see anything at 100 miles because there would be 6,600 feet of curvature. Yet, this is just one of 1,000 proofs. This is one. But yet, the Navy can target ships at 100 miles away with a camera where they photograph the target, and it's a laser target that goes straight. The laser doesn't curve. It goes straight, and they could see it. The water doesn't bend. Water is flat. Water always finds its level. You put water into a container, it conforms to the inside of a container. You can't find water anywhere that forms to the outside of a container. Water is always level. We can prove that in any country, in any lab, we can prove that water always finds its level. We can't prove that
Correct.
At some point it's going to be curved. There's no proof of that. So water doesn't curve. We're mostly water. We're in a level plane. We're on a level plane. All the pictures you see of Earth from space, they're all CGI. And NASA.
Well, what about this, Eddie, what about this then? If you fly from here to Australia, for example, and then you keep going in the same direction, you'll come eventually to England, and then you'll come back to America. What I'm saying is, if you fly in one direction, you'll go in a circle. You go in a circle.
No, to think that's a big misunderstanding. To think that let's say the world is flat, and let's miniaturize it. Let's say the world is flat, and it's and there's a model of the Earth and all the countries, and it's like a square mile, right? You can travel anywhere you want in the world on a plane. If it's flat, like let's say you want to go to Australia and then England, you know what you do? You fly to Australia on this flat plane, and then you fly to England on this flat plane. It doesn't like you can go around in a circle or on a plane. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like if you just looked at a flat plane, you could travel anywhere you want. You just pick a country, put a dot, and drive, and then you fly a straight line. It doesn't have to be a ball.
I'm Mike. Look, here's the thing. I don't really know because I'm not a smart guy. Eddie seems smarter than me. You're definitely smarter than me, Michael Bisping. We find this thing week in, week out. But I will tell you right now, Eddie Bravo is at least 150 times as passionate about his side as you are about your side. You're over there. You're fucking, twiddling your thumbs. Eddie Bravo's done the research. I'm siding with Eddie. I say that you're you're the conspiracy theorist, Michael Bisping.
Well, I'm just going with science and the popular opinion and the fact that the world is a globe. You can see
exactly what it is. It's popular opinion.
Don't be a cuck to science.
Consensus is not scientific fact. Consensus is not science. Just because a bunch of people,
is correct.
You could take 20 seventh degree black belts, put them all in a room, and ask them all if rubber guard is legit, and they could easily all say no. Does that mean it's not legit? It's the consensus. The consensus says, I would say the consensus of all BJJ black belts, they don't think rubber guard is legit. But they're wrong. They're obviously wrong.
I'll tell you this, rubber guard is a fucking gigantic pain in the ass. That's what it is. Whenever I go up against someone with rubber guard, they fucking drive me crazy. They're pulling out crazy submissions from all over the place that shouldn't be possible. So I'll give you that, Eddie. But I don't know about this flat earth stuff. But that said, Quintet on Fight Pass, October 5th. Eddie Bravo Invitational coming up soon. There all the time. Check those out. Eddie, we thank you for joining us, and maybe we'll get into this in person sometime at the LA studio. Maybe we'll get together and debate this in person. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. All
right, man. Well, listen, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it, Eddie. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, man. See ya. Bye.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
Eddie Bravo's the man. He's a legend in the sport. Legend in the sport. And look, I don't know.
Hold on. Whoa. No, he's, I wouldn't say of what sport?
Legend.
Jiu-jitsu? He's a legend of jiu-jitsu.
In MMA, all right, dude. He used to do the fucking Eddie Bravo the same way they used to do the Howard Lederer cards in boxing. They used to do the Eddie Bravo scorecards back in the day in the old school UFCs. Motherfucker, that's a legend.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Are you actually telling me that?
You know nothing about UFC legends.
How would you like know? I don't know? Are you telling me that like I don't know? Hey, did you know back in the day they used to go to Eddie Bravo for scoring? Yes, I know. Motherfucker.
Who did the instructional videos on if you used to rent the UFC pay-per-views from like Blockbuster, there used to be an instructional video and they used to teach you how to do submissions. Literally teach you.
Okay. I never used to rent them from Blockbuster because I wasn't a fucking little dipshit. I was actually doing martial arts properly. Okay. But I'm gonna take a stab in the dark at this. I'm gonna give you 3 possibilities. It was either Big John McCarthy.
Go ahead.
Pat Miletich.
Go ahead.
Or Joe Rogan.
You are 100% wrong.
Well, who was it? Just tell us the answer.
Mark Lehman.
Oh, yeah, Mark Lehman. I know Mark Lehman. I've trained with him. A jiu-jitsu phenom.
Well, if you would have known him, if you knew him that well, you would have known that he did the instructional how-tos in the old school UFC videos. You know what we should do?
If I rented VHS tapes in the 90s from Blockbuster to watch grown men fight, yeah, I would have known that. But I didn't, Luis. I just decided to not watch. I decided to do. Okay, and I did.
Oh, you should have your own Nike campaign.
Well, it's coming. But Eddie Bravo, how about that? Eddie Bravo, thank you very much for joining us. And Tyron Woodley, 2 guests back to back there. Star-studded day of guests.
Hell yeah.
What have you got left to talk about? Because we kind of got sidetracked with the 2 guests back to back.
It's all good. We got to wrap up soon because we do have another show coming in soon and we want to get some questions going, right?
Okay, let's do some questions. Go on.
All right, guys, if you want to join the conversation, shoot us an email, bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com, BYM for Believe You Me at gasdigitalnetwork.com. We always pick a few questions to answer.
Yeah. And before we get into that, because the questions we'll finish up with, guys, seriously though, do go to playline.com or go to the App Store and download the Playline app. As I said, for the Conor Khabib fight, if you use the promo code Believe You Me, you get a free $5 to put your stats in. Who's going to win? How many knockdowns? How many attempted strikes? All that type of shit. It's very, very simple. $5 free. Use the promo code Believe You Me. You can get rich. You can play on football, golf, all kinds of shit. So get involved. Playline.com. Check it out. Luis J. Gomez. Question 1. You think you're going to plug Gas Digital and I ain't going to plug my shit? Fuck you. Question 1.
You benefit from the plug of Gas Digital greatly. Look at your fucking checks.
I benefit from the plug of Playline.com greatly.
I know. You benefit from all of it, Michael Bisping. Don't you worry.
Okay. I'm a benefiter. I'm on benefits.
All right, let's go.
I'm on benefits.
Here we go.
Beneficiary.
Benedrill. Let's see. Here we go. Got it. This is just a strange fucking question.
Well, hopefully does it include fucking suicide? Which, by the way, was National Suicide Awareness Day or something yesterday. Guys, take it very seriously. Question 1, though.
That's why we did
I know. Sorry.
Happy Mondays.
Question 1. Happy Monday, guys.
This is Mark wants to know, hello, love the show, guys. Properly funny. Here's my question. It's pretty incredible, so you might want to save it for a slow week. I saw an Instagram video of Mike a while back, and his feet were fucking enormous. It looked...
Yeah, maybe the perspective. You know what they say about men with big feet.
It looked like the start of an Oxford-Cambridge boat race. What size are his feet? And did he find having fucking great plates like that an advantage in his fights? This guy jerks off to your feet. You should just know that, and we need to point it out right now. It's fine. I'm not hating, dude.
This guy, who is this and where's he from?
Mark Gadsby.
Mark Gadsby.
He said properly Gatsby, funny, so sure. he said
yeah.
Properly.
Well, no, but he said properly funny, and
it's probably English.
The expression proper is proper. You say proper funny. You don't say properly funny. So I feel like it's somebody. Is this the picture he's referring to?
Look at those feet. Yeah.
They're very normal sized feet.
What size?
Throwback to running around in circles while looking confused. I'm a size 12, which is, respectable, reasonable. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing insane.
Manly.
Look, that's a good looking guy right there. Let me send you a picture because my feet, if I was to tell you like the least favorite part of my body, it would be my feet for sure. And when I fought Tallis Lighties in Glasgow, in the 5th round or the 3rd round, I think it was actually, I ripped off the bottom of my toe. It was gross. And it was fucking painful. And the full page picture of it in the newspaper on Monday was a close-up of my toe. And it was fucking disgusting. I'm just trying to find the shot. Just Google it. I don't know. You can see it, whatever. Who cares? Let's move on. But there it is.
Ew.
I mean, my feet. Look at that shit.
That's fucking gross.
Painful.
Look at the way his toes are going in. Like you see how they're going like in different directions?
Hey, let's not break down my toes. Let's talk about the injury. That was bad. I lost the bottom of my, I think that was the 3rd round. It made rounds 4 and 5 very, very painful to walk on.
Can you zoom in on the other foot that's not that foot? Because look how gross the other one is too. Having nothing to do with the injury. I want you to fucking see what's happening.
Get these off the screen right now. Get them off the screen.
That is fucking rancid, dog.
Yeah.
Holy
shit. Delete. Let me tell you why. Delete. Take that off the screen.
Take it off.
Take that off the screen, you fucking asshole.
You told him to bring it up.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know you were going to start like fucking marking things around it and bringing up the other ones. A lot of athletes have fucked up feet because that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Getting stamped on training. Footballers, they all have the same thing. I'm talking about soccer players, of course. That's the way it goes. It's a small price to pay for being a fucking legend. What are you going to do? You go and kick it in Thailand, and that's what happens. Go on. Next question.
Next question is from Karam, and he's a student in King's College in London. Shame on me for pointing out, or shame on your feet. Good, thank you.
Shame on those feet. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Dear both, hope all is well. Mike, in the past, you've expressed interest in running a marathon. How fast do you think you could realistically run it? David Beckham ran a marathon in 3 hours 50. Think you could beat it? And then there's a second part of the question. So first answer that part.
Yes, I want to run a marathon. I've never done it. 26 miles. Sounds like a challenge. I could run a marathon today. It all depends on the time, though. I mean, of course, I could do 26 miles. Anyone could. I ran 3 miles this morning.
I'm looking at Harrington. Harrington could not.
Yeah, no, he could. Everyone could. You might end up walking it. You could walk 26 miles.
Well, yeah, that's not running it. You said anyone could run 26 miles.
Okay, anyone can complete a marathon. Okay,
fine. I'll give you that.
At whatever speed. At whatever speed. And I could do one today. I have no shoes on right now. I'm looking at my feet. They're in better condition than what they were on that picture. Thank fuck. Kiss my ass. And I could put my shoes on right now and go run 26 miles. But I want to do it competitively. David Beckham. I mean, listen, I beat David Beckham when I became coolest guy of the year 2008.
Of course.
You don't
need to beat his time.
I could definitely beat, I think I could 3 hours, 50 minutes. I mean, what does that, 3 hours, 50.
What's the average time of a marathon? Can you pull that up? What is the average person
6, 12, 18. So it's 230 minutes, 230 divided by 26. Oh, that's a good pace. So that's 8 minutes.
8-minute miles the whole time.
Ooh, fuck me. For 26 miles. Carajo. Unless I've done my math wrong. That's fucking hard.
Actually, for men,
8-minute miles?
Oh, God.
For men, the average time is 4 hours, 22 minutes, 7 seconds, which equates to about a 10-minute mile.
Okay.
Even still doing a 10-minute mile for 26 miles, that's hard. I think with a bit of training, I could beat Beckham's time. I'm going to do it. I've never done it. It's going to give me something to train for. Right now, I don't want to do that because I'm trying to make those gains, bro. I'm lifting weights every day. Trying to put some muscle mass on. Training for a marathon would be the exact opposite of that. But I do want to do that, and I'm suggesting with my wife maybe we should do that, both lose some weight. But I want to start yoga. That's one thing I'm definitely going to do this week. I'm going to start yoga for the first time.
Have you ever done hot yoga?
No, that's what I want to do. My arms don't go much further. Look, I can't get a suit jacket on these days. My range of motion in my shoulders from years and years of punching and grappling and wrestling, my range of motion is so bad. So I want to start yoga. Hopefully that will help. Well, everyone says it will. So yeah.
Yeah, dude. I've done hot yoga a bunch of times, and I love it. I really do. It also, in terms of like lifting weights, because I've done like, you know, like bodybuilding type stuff in the past before. I ended up being better at lifting weights because you become very, very in tune with your body. You're very like, you know, whatever they say, mind-body connection, whatever it is, you start to just understand your muscles a little bit more. So I suggested it really, and there's hot chicks everywhere. It's fucking great. Just smoking hot chicks.
Yeah, but I'm going to go with my wife. So, you know, I mean,
it's fine.
You know, I mean, I still enjoy the view. Yeah, no, for sure. I got to go with my wife because I'm just too self-conscious to do it by myself. I won't do it. I can't. Could you walk into a yoga place by yourself?
I have. I will again.
Well no, but all right. Sorry. Allow me to elaborate. Problem is, and I sound like an asshole when I say this, people know who I am. You know what I mean? And if I walk in somewhere, oh, God, fucking Michael Bisping's here. Let's all have a good laugh at him while he tries to do yoga.
Do you think that you're...
So even still, you know, I still get a little self-conscious. So I want to go with my wife for a little bit of support. You know what I mean? Just to break myself in nice and loosely. And it'll be a little yoga morning together, something we can do, you know?
Yeah, look, I'm not discouraging you, but I also don't think that you're going to get recognized at a yoga studio. These are fucking little
I probably wouldn't.
Yoga bitches.
I probably wouldn't. Yeah.
They have no idea.
Whoa. We don't use the B word on Believe You Me.
Yoga bitches? That's the name of the episode.
Yoga bitches.
All right, other part of Karam's question. The other part of his question was, and we all know who would win in a fight between both of you, but who would win in an old school game of Street Fighter? Good question.
Ooh, let me tell you this. Street Fighter 2, you better shut the fuck up. I will beat most people at Street Fighter 2. When I was a kid, my Super Nintendo, I had a carry case, to put it all in. And what I did was, I was obsessed with computer games when I was a kid. Like most kids, I wasn't special, you know what I mean? But I was particularly good at Street Fighter 2. I loved it. I was obsessed with it. And what I used to do was, Mrs. Craig, she was our art teacher at St. Augustine's High School. And Mrs. Craig, God bless her, she was kind of easy to convince. She was easy to lie to, basically. And I said, Miss, how about this? At lunchtimes, I'll set up my Super Nintendo and I'll do a Street Fighter 2 tournament where people pay 20p to play me. And if they beat me, they get £1, but they won't beat me. And all the proceeds will go to the art club. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds fantastic. And anyway, so I'd bring it in and I'd play everyone and I'd beat everybody. You know what I mean?
This is the game. This is your game.
This is me, yeah.
Who's your character?
Ken, every time.
Really? The American?
Ken. Well, I mean, Ken or Ryu, but no, sorry, what am I saying? Ryu, of course, Ryu, not Ken. I don't know why I said that, Ryu, which is actually pronounced Rue. Oh, you bastards have got me saying Ryu because you don't know what I'm talking about. It's called Rue. That's how you pronounce it, FYI, just saying. Anyway, art club, bring in my little gay carry case every day, plug in my computer, play people, they pay 20p, I play them, I kick their ass, there you go. After a few weeks, Mrs. Craig was like, where's the money? And I'd be like, oh, God, they're really good, miss. They keep beating me. I keep having to give them £1 and this and that. But I was going home with a few quid every day. It's, like £2 or £3 in my pocket, which when you're a kid in your skin is fucking great. But, 2 weeks or so, Mrs. Craig put an end to that. So that's a long-winded way of saying, I'll fuck you up on Street Fighter.
You think so? Well, guess what? Can I say something real quick? You're coming to New York in a week. I happen to have one of these little Super Nintendo systems with Street Fighter 2 built into it. So we will do a Street Fighter. We'll end the show when he comes into town. You got to set up the tech on this, Shannon and Harrington. Talk to Ralph about this. Make sure this is set up preemptively. We will have a Street Fighter 2 out of 3 tournament. Okay, you got to win 2 out of 3 to end it. And this is it. And then we'll put something on the line. And then this is way better than the fucking jiu-jitsu tap me out 5 times in a round thing. Fuck that.
Well, yeah, because I would fuck you up. I would tap you out 20 times with my eyes shut. But Okay, all right, I'm down for that.
Let's do it. I'm down.
I'm down for that, but we need to figure out. Have we got one more question?
Let's do one more. Here we go. This is from Drew. He says, I've been enjoying your podcast and love the witty banter between you and Luis. One thing I've really admired about you is your fighter's mentality. I was wondering if you had any advice to others about building your mental toughness to help handle adversity. While this is obviously a great asset to a fighter with all the mental warfare before fights, I feel like this skill is vital to everyone's life and would really appreciate your perspective on how you can develop this for the everyday person.
Oof. Ooh. Hard question to answer. How do you develop mental toughness? I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, I don't know, Luis. How do you answer that? I mean, how do you develop mental toughness? I guess I always just had it. You know, I mean, I was always kind of stubborn. I've always been super competitive. I want to win in everything I do, even if I'm just like messing around with my kids. I'm sorry, I've got to win. And I always wanted to be world champion. I always prided myself on my fighting ability. And as I said, I refused to give up my dream of being world champion. So I don't know if it's a case of, I don't know if it's anything I can teach. You know, I mean, it's just perseverance, persistence. There's all that stuff. You know, you keep going to the gym, you keep pushing, you keep trying. But how do you instill mental toughness in somebody? Go on.
Well, I think you have to challenge yourself. I think you have to, your back has to be against the wall. The reason that, Michael Bisping is mentally tough, I think it has much less to do with you being a professional martial artist and much more to do with the background that you came from, your upbringing, the fact that you dealt with adversity in life. That was what sort of gave you the mental toughness to say, well, fucking jiu-jitsu and wrestling is like, yeah, dude, I fucking dealt with real shit. And like, I'm not a fighter, but it's a very similar thing. I've had a lot of bullshit happen in my life. I didn't have a great upbringing, and I think that it builds a lot of my character. And dude, look, maybe you're lucky. Maybe you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth and things have been really easy for you. Well, think about how can you take yourself out of that comfort zone. If you're looking at your life every day and you're comfortable and you're not brought to fucking tears with the challenges that you're dealing with, then you're not probably dealing with the same type of bullshit that a guy like Michael Bisping dealt with early in his life. And you have to do something to put yourself there. And I think that will bring up mental. What do you hate the most? What is it? Do you fucking, do you hate exercising? Well, maybe get in there every day and exercise and break yourself mentally. Get a personal trainer that'll do that. Well, who knows? But I think it's challenging yourself to another level. Doing that fight, and I people will give me shit for bringing it up as much as possible, but that was something that really challenged my mental toughness that I didn't know that I had before. That was something that I'd never put myself into that type of position before and trained that way. And so I think taking yourself out of your everyday life and the comforts of every day, I think that's a way you can build it, but I don't know that you could learn to be tough. I think you might learn that you're not tough a lot of the times in those things.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's why I was kind of struggling to answer it. I mean, to a certain degree, you've either got it or you haven't. And it all depends how badly you want it, because if you don't want it bad enough, then the part of your personality that makes you mentally tough, if it's over something that you don't want particularly bad, then that's not going to be on display, because you're going to say, well, fuck it, I don't want it, I'm not that bothered, I'm not going to put myself through hell and shit and suffering and ridicule, all this stuff, if it's not something I want. It's just not worth it to you. I mean, it all depends what kind of scenario you're talking about. Who asked this question again? What's the name?
This was from Drew.
Yeah. I mean, I could say this. I mean, if you believe something and you conceive it, then you can achieve it.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
It's like the worst self-help book you've ever read. Conceive, believe, achieve. One more question, Luis, because I didn't have an answer for that guy. All right, I'm very sorry. Just be a hard-nosed mother effer. Try your best. Never say quit. Get up every day, try and achieve your goals. Go.
Okay, actually, this is a good question because we never really got into it, and we did discuss it very slightly last week in person, I believe. Alex from Laverna wants to know, I love the show, guys. You guys are great and hilarious. Wanted to know what your thoughts are on bare knuckle boxing, which has a promotion here in America known as bare knuckle FC. Mike, do you think it's barbaric? Would you ever have done it? Obviously not would you ever do it in the future, but would you have ever done it in the past? Cheers, and thank you, guys.
Well, listen, it's another platform for fighters to go out there and make money. So I'm all for that. A good friend of mine, Kendall Grove, recently fought on there, won in the first round, I believe. Beautiful finish. So well done, Kendall Grove. Good. Give Kendall Grove a follow, guys. He's fucking awesome. So I'm all for that. I am. The only thing I don't like about it, of course, there's no gloves, so there's more chance of injuries. You know what I mean? It was just in the news today. Some MMA fighter had his finger, a thumb put in his eye, and the guy's losing his eye. He's going to have his eye removed. Of course, I had troubles with my eye, you know. So, and when I see no gloves, I kind of cringe a little bit because I don't want people to get injured. I don't want people to get hurt. And I think by removing the gloves, we're going backwards instead of forwards. You know, people could argue that it's a truer form of combat, which, all right, maybe so because there's no gloves. But there's also limited rules. It's just boxing, right? Is that correct?
Yeah,
Luis?
it's just boxing.
Yeah, it's just boxing, you know. So boxers, I mean, number one, you're going to fuck your hands up. Number two, it's not good for the head. It's not good for the brain.
And it's not a true evolution in that case. Like you're saying, oh, it's more pure. It's not, because it's MMA is much closer to fighting than bare knuckle boxing. I think it does have.
Listen, I'm all for it. For fighters, it's another platform to make money. So therefore, I support that. And if they want to do it, fighters, they need places to go and make money. I'm not for it generally because I feel it's a little bit of a step back. I do. But still, if fighters are going to go and make money from it, God bless them. I wish them all the best. Stay safe out there. I guess that's all I've got to say on that, really, because, you know, Kendall went out there recently. He had a great fight. He won. And, you know, after the UFC and after Bellator, you know, there's not that many places to go out there and fight. There isn't, and that's just a sad reality.
Yeah.
I'm not talking specifically about Kendall, but he was a guy that fought for the UFC and fought for Bellator. You know, there is other organizations out there. There's CSW, or is it KSW? I'm not sure. In Poland, my apologies. There's ACB. There was M1. There's lots of shows around the world, but predominantly Bellator, UFC. They're the main ones. After that, it gets kind of difficult to make real money. And if they're paying good money and fighters are receiving that money, then I'm happy for that.
Yeah, there's I would be interested in talking more to people that do it, because I mean there is a real push for it, and we do see, I mean, it's been big in England, I think, for a really long time. Like, you know, there's those videos on YouTube that have been coming out forever when, like, in England and Ireland, it's just a circle of dudes and they're just, you know, punching each other, and there's some guys who legitimately...
Yeah, but bare knuckle gypsy boxing, that's been around forever, and there's bare knuckle unlicensed boxing, I guess, in the UK. But yeah, the gypsy boxing, that's been around forever, man.
Yeah,
that'll always be around. But this is very different. This is in an organized fashion. A lot of the gypsy bare knuckle fights in England, they're just like I don't know, in some farmyard somewhere, and Gypsy John takes on Gypsy George, and they fucking throw down, and that's about it. And the winner takes all the cash. So this is different. This is a bit more regulated and organized. And I guess that's the end of the show. Not the hilarious show that we usually have today. I still enjoyed it. We had a nice discussion. We had some amazing guests. Thank you to Tyron Woodley. Thank you to Eddie Bravo. Let's keep an eye out on Tyron Woodley's rap tune debuting at the end of the week. Eddie Bravo, the Quintet special, 5th of October on Fight Pass. I'm going to try and get up to New York next week so we can do this in person. Whip your ass on Street Fighter 2. Go to playline.com, promo code Believe You Me. And in the meantime, I'll say bon voyage. And we'll do a bonus, not a bonus, we'll do one on Thursday, correct?
Yeah, we're going to do another one this week. So we'll get another one out this week. It's not a bonus. Yeah, so we'll check you guys on Thursday or Friday. Thursday? Maybe Friday. We'll talk off air.
Thursday. Whatever. Bye, guys.